So it's my day off, and I'm just out here chilling out. It's nice. I feel like I've been working a lot, and I like it because I make money. But I'm gonna talk to my manager about how to not work so much, just because I'm noticing I don't have enough time to like fully decompress. That's why getting up this morning, I was like, I'm just gonna fucking sit out here and just chill. It's really nice. I I've had two ideas that have kind of been bouncing around in my head, and that I've been kind of experimenting with in like my day-to-day life, and I wanted to talk about both of them. One of them I think is really, it's something that I never really thought about before, and I'm not sure if I had heard this like concept much. Bogey's whining. Bogey, go on. Come on, go. Go on. Go on. Go on. Go. Good boy. Um so the first one was um they kind of actually tie in together actually. So it's like a two-step process that I've noticed. The first is for my day-to-day life, I can't really control the way things will make me feel. Like if I'm at work and it's kind of like a very stressful situation, I'm very busy, I have a lot going on, and then something's happening, it might like these feelings of like kind of being pissed off or frustrated or anxious arise. And it's hard in those situations when you're have that elevated, that heightened like fight or flight kind of response, because you're so busy, you're anxious, where it's harder to respond to things calmly. But it's something I've been working on, where those feelings come up, something in my environment like evokes a response that I feel, but then I don't react to it. And even though I'm feeling it, I just, it's hard to explain with words, but it's like that idea of responding to your emotions instead of reacting. I've heard people say that a lot. It's kind of like that. And the second part of the process is not saying, like, not complaining about anything, like not saying stuff out loud that is kind of negative in any way. And no one's perfect, so obviously I say negative stuff here and there. Like, that's gonna happen. I'm human. I'm gonna complain about stuff. I'm gonna vent about stuff. Like, that's very natural. But it's like I'll notice, for instance, like someone at work, say they're pissed off because they got sat 3 times in a row and it makes them really busy, and then they'll start complaining about it. The same thing can happen to me, except, and I feel the same way. Like inside, I'm feeling the exact same way as they are, but I don't say anything because I don't want to make it like exist outside of myself. Like when you say it outside of yourself to someone else, it's almost like you're bringing it into existence more so than it was when it was just a feeling. And I think the nuance here is you're not stuffing it down. I acknowledge those feelings in me, but I'm not feeding into them. Like that feeling arises and I'm not speaking it. I'm not giving it energy, you know? Instead, like if the host or hostess is like sitting me a bunch, they can see that I'm like really busy and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes." You know, inside I'm like, I don't want to be sad again, but I know that I can do it, and I want to just, I don't know. It's just this little lesson I feel like that I've been kind of working on. And of course, if I'm busy, I'll ask for help and stuff. Like, I don't try and do everything by myself. But just in general too. Like today, feeling tired and anxious, I could start saying that to people. You know, if like my dad asked me how I'm doing, I could be like, oh, I'm tired, I'm anxious. And then it's like, it's making it a thing when if I don't say anything, it's almost like I'm just not making a big deal out of it, and then it just will kind of fizzle out and go away as the day goes on. It's cool. I really like it. It's some like, it's just a trippy like concept that I had never really like thought about, or even like, yeah, I had heard people talk about like how your words are powerful, but I think I'm really starting to get it now, where the more you control what you say out loud to yourself and to others, I don't even know. It's weird. It's like I said, it's something that I'm just starting to kind of mess with. It's like an idea that's not fully formed right now. But I'm like, I'm doing it every day. I'm feeling it. And so far I'm liking it. I think there's two things that come to mind that are like kind of a nuance within this idea, where you could take this idea too far. Is one, not recognizing, like, it's not, I'm acknowledging my emotion, I'm just not, like I said, like giving it energy. There's a difference between that and then stuffing down your emotions. Like if you feel angry and then you just resist it and you're shoving it down, or you feel sad and you're resisting it and you're shoving it down, or you don't want it to be there, that's different, because then you're not allowing it to just move through you and kind of do its thing within yourself. And so I think that's important to think about. The other thing would be, what was the other one? Oh yeah, I was talking to my buddy Carl about this the other day. Like, sometimes when you have those feelings arise that make you feel bad in any way, that could be a sign that there's an imbalance in your life, and it's something that needs to be addressed. And for instance, that for me right now, I think is work. You know, right now I'm on 5 days and on call 1. In the last 3 weeks, I've just been called in each of those days. Like I said, I don't mind it too much, but I'm noticing there's kind of an imbalance, and I'm not having enough time to decompress. Like just like this, where I just sit out and I drink my coffee and I just chill. You know, my mind will kind of think and just like, it almost like unwinds itself kind of. Because when I'm not at work, I'm at the gym training, so I'm just like constantly boom, 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 boom. And I think that's something, like that feeling of something kind of being off. There, you also have to recognize like when there's a feeling that doesn't just need to be acknowledged, it needs to be addressed, you know? So it all just comes down to, I think, like knowing yourself, you know, like there's going to be a lot of trial and error, I think, with this type of idea, you know? And I think it's better to err on the side of addressing stuff, you know, especially at first. You know, like if you don't like the way you feel all the time, that's probably like a sign that you need to change things in your life or change your reaction to your emotions, like just work on yourself and develop your relationship with yourself and the world around you more. And I think maybe further down the line, once you kind of start to figure that out, then you can maybe experiment with like this type of stuff, you know, where like just earlier earlier when I was drinking coffee, Bogey was just whining, and I have these feelings like to just be like, shh, you know, like, shut up. But then it's taking that step and just like not doing that, and then a second later it's gone, you know, because he's just a dog that wants to be pet. Like, I shouldn't have to shush him, you know. If I don't feel like petting him right now, I don't have to pet him. But shushing him, I think, is like, that's that reaction to that emotion that bubbles up. I had that reaction, and then I make it real, and then it affects him, you know, and then he feels bad. He's like, why is he shushing me? I just want love and attention. And then instead it comes up, I don't don't give it energy, and then a second later it's just gone, you know. It's so cool. I think that made sense. I don't know if it did, but I think it did. I think further down the line I'll start to get it more.